welcome back, our freaks and geeks, to another podcast with the best podcast in this sector of the area, the Square on Table podcast, with your host, with your host Marcus and D, and Roshi over here. He just had to hop down. Told you it wouldn't take him that long.
He
Podcast
always
cat,
he always
he's
trying
a
to be a part of our podcast.
he's always here, even in spirit. Sometimes he come by. But today is going to be a special podcast. We're going to talk about, as you can see from the banner, we're going to be talking about the comparison between MCU Spider-Man and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man, and which one did it better. We already know, you guys know which one did it better if you've been paying attention to the shows, but we're going to help you out.
You've
Marcus,
been paying attention and not hating.
right? Exactly. Let's talk about, listen, that's a whole nother podcast right there,
Yeah, which we
honestly.
did, by the way. We did a whole
We
nother
did.
podcast about it.
We did.
Go
If
check
you want to
that
know
out.
about the best live action Spider-Man, we did a podcast about that. It's really great. You'd be pretty surprised who we chose. Honestly, you would be. It was a nail biter, really. Honestly, there was some
It really
good picks.
was.
And Tom came in there and he did some weight. He did a little bit of weight in there.
He pulled some weight. Tom has grown on me over the years. I will say.
Definitely. So Spider-Man 4, looking forward to it as of right now. But that's another podcast. So you can check that podcast out if you want to see our thoughts on that. Good little pluggy plug right there. But with that being said, I think the thing about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that works better than the MCU is just that they didn't really heavily go into they had a mentor, but they had his villain be his mentor, which was an interesting twist on the already established thing in the MCU of having a father figure fill that Uncle Ben role. But it worked and executed better in this series than it did in MCU.
MCU, yeah. I think honestly, just even to simple as this, good writing and storytelling. It went back to the roots of the comic and just really fleshing out Peter as his own person and having to balance this life of being a teenager, being immature, naive, very influential. It's not just Avenger who's he's looking up to. He's looking up to money. He got his friend Nico.
Nico.
Nico. Then Harry comes into the picture, and then Norman, and then on top of that, you do have the Avengers in this universe. And it's crazy because this show is literally the opposite of the MCU with Tom's, and they just switched a few things around. And it's unfortunate because it's like they got it right this time.
Yeah, exactly.
If they would have did it like this the first time, then it would have worked. Because me and Demetrius always say we weren't the biggest fans with the whole Tony Stark as the mentor. We felt like it should have been somebody a little bit more personal. And we was okay with the suit being all high tech, but it was like it's Tony Stark. Of course, he's gonna give him like a great suit off rip. And even in this series with Norman, like he had the tech and gave him like different suits. He had the options. And at the end of the day, I thought it was cool that Harry was the one who was like, nah, man, I saw what you had in your book in your sketch pad. This is you. Like, this is more you. And that's just going back to my first point. The showing the relationships, how they work, how they intertwine, even how they were finding out he was Spider Man. But it wasn't just like it was over mistakes that he would really probably make. Like changing in front of the camera. And Harry telling Nico, like it's stuff like that that probably would really happen in reality.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I would say this. It's hard to say which is better. And you can almost say not even if it's better. Roshan!
No, that's the new one.
This the new one. Oh yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah, it's a new
That's
one.
right. Like,
What?
all right, okay, I'm here now. Get
I'll
me
put me
away.
down. Little squirrel break, everybody.
Yeah, but yeah, it's almost like this was an improvement to let us see what a possibility of a good Spider-Man story, and also my dog who wrote Craig of the Creek. I always forget his name, but he wrote. He came up with the Craig of the Creek show, So when I heard it was him, I was like, I ain't even worried because that dude know how to tell some stories and develop
He
characters,
does.
man.
Yeah. I agree. And talking about the suit aspect, because you did bring up a great point. When Tony, he gave him a suit that he thought he would need for being an Avenger. He didn't give him the chance to really like make or find his own suit. He was like, "This is what you give him: parachutes, kill mode, all these things that a
Tracking
teenager shouldn't
devices.
have, tracking devices, all these things that And they seemed like they were Spider-Man suits because it was the Spider-Man emblem and it had all the webbing and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But it seemed like Tony Stark was the one that was really the person designing him and not really Peter until the last movie or
No Way Home.
the No Way Home. Yeah, not
Yeah.
No Way Home. Far From Home when he made
Far
his
From
own
Home.
suit. When
Yeah.
he made his own suit and it had the black tins, which that was probably besides his in the last 10 second or 10-minute suit when he had that blue, that light, like shiny blue. That was his best suit for me. Like all the other suits, I just wasn't that big of a fan of. But I like that Norman was like giving him all these different options to choose so he could figure out what he wanted to be. And then I love that in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, no one's telling him exactly that with great power comes great responsibility line. He's learning that through his own journey.
His choice.
So removing Uncle Ben is in this situation is great because, or sorry, spoilers
I'm
alert.
saying
They don't
he's
necessarily
dead. Yeah, he's there. You just don't. We don't have to see the origin, like, which is cool.
exactly.
I was perfectly
Yeah,
fine with that. But at least we know he existed. We physically seen something that was proof. Okay, Uncle Ben was there. He had
exactly.
something happen, but it wasn't how he got his powers, which is dope
hmm
the way he got his powers. But before we get into that, go ahead, Demetrius.
Yeah, but like I said, spoiler alert: Uncle Ben is technically in the universe and he's technically around. I
Mm-hmm.
think. I want to say no. I think no. Sorry, that's his dad. I keep forgetting that's his dad.
Yeah,
Okay.
you talking about the
Uh,
end?
yeah, yeah, the end.
Yeah.
I always jump to that, but scratch that. It's his dad, for the record. Don't come at me in the comments, okay? I made a
You better
mistake.
not come at him. Don't come at him.
But I like that in this universe they removed Uncle Ben, his line, and they let Peter determine that on his own, which is a way better way of handling it than having it being thrown at the end of the third movie, which I always thought was just clunky, just to get the
Yeah.
line out. I don't know. It isn't the fact that it's Aunt May or whatever. It's the fact that how clunky it was just thrown out there.
Yeah.
Like where they heard the fans were wanting it and they were like,
Yep.
we need to drop this line. Let's make it
Mm-hmm.
happen. So I didn't really like that aspect. So I love the bigger dynamic or the newer dynamic of it and
Yeah.
how characters interact in this universe and are not just throwaway characters.
Everybody has a purpose in this show,
Mm-hmm.
and their stories connect with either another character, a personal journey. Like, I love Lonnie's story
Yep,
because we
me
all
too.
know that Lonnie is Tombstone. Like, I knew that coming into the show, and it was like, man, how are they gonna turn this good kid into a villain?
Mm-hmm.
And even in the end, he really is not become a villain yet, but you can
No.
start to see like the layers just being peeled very slowly. Because I think what's gonna happen with him is he's gonna really be trying to look out more for
Mm-hmm.
people, but it's not gonna be the right way. As most villains who like walk that line do. And then like in the Spider-Man games, Tombstone kind of was the same way. Like him and Peter had a relationship, and then like he went straight and tried to go on the right path and stuff, and ended up helping them on some missions and stuff. So it's like Tombstone is one of those characters that kind of walks that line.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
what else is interesting, real quick, is Tom got 3 movies, right? Three
Yeah.
movies, 3 solo movies, two, what, 3 Avenger movies, basically. Because
Mm-hmm.
he was in Endgame and Infinity War, and then he was in Civil War. So that's 6 movies, right?
I'll say 3 movies and 3 appearances.
Yeah.
We'll give them those
And
as
the
appearances.
and the fact that one season so far has covered everything that they took 3 movies to get to. That's where the problem is for us. It ain't. It's
Yeah.
not that. It's not that we don't like Tom Spider-Man, because Tom played the hell out of Peter in
Oh,
Spider-Man.
100%.
He
Agreed.
brought it to the table, but the story they gave and how fast they rushed him into these bigger problems in this show, we literally see Peter in New York and in his neighborhood doing stuff. Even the villains and stuff. Iron Man comes in to arrest Doc Ock in what, the
Yeah.
sixth episode or something. Like,
Something like
they're
that.
all there, but it's really focused on Peter. And I always was an advocate saying Homecoming should have really, it was grounded, and they should have kept it there with the next movie, but because they threw him in the Avengers movies and all that, he just got this
He
bigger
had
problem.
to.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, he's technically like what, 16, 17, so it's a teenager. Because and most of the times in the comics, when Peter started doing Avengers stuff, he's well into college.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's
So
established at that point in time. He's
yeah,
not. He's not
he's not
just
a kid.
started. Exactly. He's not just starting his career like 2 years ago or something like that. And I think I like that. The one thing another thing that I had a problem with MCU Spider-Man is, or Tom Spider-Man is, um, his villains weren't his villains. They were Tony Stark inspired villains. But in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, they
all
are
of
all his. They are
all
all
of
his
them
villains.
all of them were affected by Tony and something he did.
Some way.
Vulture, Vulture was from the Chitauri invasion, with the weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and they shut down what he worked for. Mysterio worked at Stark Industries. What was the last one? Oh,
Um,
the last one, they pulled villains from other universes, so it wasn't like his
it wasn't
villains.
even his villains. Yeah,
And
I mean,
then
they were
still,
Spider-Man villains. They just weren't
exactly,
his
they weren't
Spider-Man
his.
villains.
And then on top of that, still, what did they use to enhance their stuff? Stark
Tech.
technology.
So and I guess that's their answer in the MCU for like any tech that isn't like space tech is, oh, it's Tony stuff. Which, you establish your universe around Tony. Of course, you're going to use this tech to explain everything. So it makes sense. I just wish that we got the treatment that we get in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man that we got in the MCU Spider-Man. I wish his villains had a beef with him. Like Scorpion had a beef with literally Peter because he kept messing with his stuff.
Yeah, he kept interrupting him. And then I even like how, because Norman said that with great power comes great respect.
Yeah, respect.
And I was like, whoa, that's the wrong thing to tell a teenager.
Exactly.
Because I know you tell me that, I'm going to be like, oh, that means I could go out here and whoop some ass and they're going to respect me. And that's exactly what Peter
That's
did.
exactly what he started doing.
He got to the point where he was about to off Scorpion. And then he realized when Lonnie stepped there, he was like, man, I can't. That's when it clicked, the responsibility part. And like you said, back to your point, that's what gave that show like that balance of, okay, we don't have Uncle Ben saying that famous line, but like the way Stan Lee always wrote it, it's a part of Spider-Man, and that's what wakes him up to realize he has to be a hero and has to be responsible with it. So I thought it was cool how they did that, and just like how they tie in all these characters and they set up so much stuff, and then we know now we get Gwen Stacy next season. So I'm like, bro, I really feel like this is how Tom's universe should have been, and I hate so bad that he didn't get this set up, because now he's at the point where he's in his like Toby Maguire.
Oh yeah, he's in his Toby.
He's an adult. He's going to college. He's trying to pay the bills,
trying to balance it out.
I'm just hoping now they do it right, and I'm hoping like even with Daredevil out now that we get some of him and Daredevil.
Can't get him in Daredevil. You know why? They reported that they can't put Spider-Man in TV shows. We only mentioned we gonna get it from episode 1. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna spoil it anymore, but more than I'm about to say now. But Will Fisk mentioned Spider-Man. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting.
And it's so crazy because they literally have so many interactions in the comics, bro. Like they in the same freaking state, like just a few miles apart from each other. It's like, how would they not run it? And I get it. It's a mature show. You don't want Spider-Man, but he can show up, even if it's like them meeting for coffee or something. Like,
because they know each other now.
Yeah, he don't have to fight because he's gonna have to cross paths with the Punisher because he does that in a lot of comics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, I think I like about these two shows is 2 points. Is Tom had a crash out moment in No Way Home, and this Peter had a crash out moment in the first season. They both were about to just end it.
I'm talking about was finna
Straight
in the
crash
same
out.
in the same way like this.
Exactly. Just and I
Yeah, and they
also
both
like
were stopped. They both were stopped by people that was like close to them.
that was
So
caring about them, that actually cared about their brand and cared about who they were, what they represented. Lonnie was like, "Hey, you're better than this. You don't want to lose them all the good you're doing from them seeing you do this." And then Toby was like, "Listen, I've been down that road. I had Venom on
you
me.
don't want to go there.
You don't want to. You don't want to be Bully Maguire, okay? You don't want
to." Hey, when we post this, we gotta cut that clip and then hit it and have them like down here somewhere. I'm gonna try to cook that up because we gotta throw it in there now.
Okay, definitely. I'm down. I'm into it. No, my second point is that I love both Daredevil interactions. One in No Way Home when he caught the brick, I was like, that was clean.
Yes.
And then when he showed up as the person that let him know that Norman wasn't shit.
Yeah. And then he was like, it was so cool. The jokes that they did was like the perfect like jokes because Matt was, he's like, how can you see that? He was like, no, not really. Like Matt was like, he basically was finna say like, dude, I'm blind.
Right, pretty much. Like I can't.
But he was, and I like how Matt like he can play on this line where he can beat you up enough but not hurt you because he's trying to like say, hey kid, I'm trying to do a job. I don't want to hurt you, but you need to realize what you're getting yourself into. It was a good little fight. It was like a teaching moment for Peter. Hey, this dude really could rough you up, and he's just trying to be nice.
He's trying to be nice and get his job done without hurting a kid.
Yeah,
because he got a conscience.
Did you see at the end that girl was working with him who was at the school?
Oh yeah,
because I had looked up a lot of the characters that I'd never heard of, and she's like a super like vigilante, and she's working with Matt. So I was like, that's now we got Amadeus Cho, so
yeah,
we might get a Hulk. Then Dr. Connors is an African American woman, so that's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be an interesting twist, especially with how close their relationship is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they set up that relationship in this show early. And it's gonna be crazy how Norman's gonna turn, because like I was waiting for that. Like we got the glider, but I was waiting for a little peek.
I was waiting to see a little suit or something appear, but I like how they like dragging it out a little bit, and I really think it's gonna hurt. I think it's gonna hurt Harry more than it does Peter.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see how they going. That's another thing. We getting a Peter and a Harry relationship, like an updated version, like what we thought we was gonna get with Tom. But the whole thing with Sony and the characters, we understand that. But I just thought for sure that second film we was gonna get Harry when they went.
We might get Harry now, Man 4,
and that's a good thing. Now that I really think that this show will help them, will guide them to do certain things. Because like you said, like now that he's gonna be in college, he can meet Harry in college. Because it's clear now that we can have a storyline where him and Harry haven't known each other since they were kids.
Exactly.
They can meet and then build a friendship. So we'll see how it goes. I have a lot of like faith in this next Spider-Man film because I really feel like Tom wants to give people like that memorable Spider-Man that's gonna stick, so he can have that conversation with, like we said when we did our podcast, he could be in the conversation with Andrew,
exactly,
and Toby, and he's gonna get something that neither one of them got to complete his, his story and have all those films because he has 3, and this will be the 4th. So Toby got the 3, he didn't get his 4th. Andrew didn't get 3 or 4. So it's this last one, or if it is.
I thought he was on for 5 or 6 movies.
Yes, that's right. It's 5 or 6. So like this is his chance to really give
hone in on it.
Yeah, give it that weight. Like and now I got that. Now he got the great power with respect. Cause that's what I feel he's missing. The respect part, not as far as like Spider-Man, but like people respecting like how that character is portrayed.
Exactly.
I really think this will be Tom's moment to shine. Cause we love you, Tom. It's the writers we
yeah.
don't love.
It's the people who over your writing and your directing and don't love you like that. And the thing is, I know he's gonna be bad. I know he's gonna be in Secret Wars, and I hope that they don't. I'd love to see Andrew, and I love to see Toby, but just let Spider.
Don't let
Let's
them
let Toby.
outshine them. Yeah.
Just let Tom shine. All right, he needs to shine,
And
especially since
give
they.
him the black suit. You got to.
Yep, give him it. Just let him have it.
I don't care. I don't care if it's just what he made. He need the black suit. That's all.
He needs an official black suit because that thing is No Way Home. I'm not counting that as a black suit.
Yeah, all he did was like flip it
inside out. But the thing is, being that they're going to go into this with our least favorite directive decision of having RDJ, no shade to RDJ, but the direction of him playing Doom.
Exactly, because we
know what they're
doing
this
money,
for,
brother.
you know what they go.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what
so
they
Peter
do.
can see him, and it'd be like that shock value moment, and he's no Mr. Stark, and he's gonna be like, who? You know this how it's gonna play out.
Because guess what? Every single time in every movie that he has a father figure, whatever like that, he has that moment where he's, oh my word. When it was with Mysterio or with Vulture in the car, he had that moment where he was like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. Or with Mysterio, I messed up. So now he's gonna have that moment where he's gonna probably trust him at first and then get duped. Because that's just, it just seems like this. It's happened twice. It's gonna happen a third time.
At this point, you gotta stop falling for it, Peter. And I was just gonna say for me, for the RDJ to really work, and I'm emphasizing on really work because I ain't on board. For it to really hit with me, he gotta go all the way. He gotta almost be like to the point where I'm getting like Blair Underwood vibes from what was it, Medea's family reunion. Well, I don't like him at all. I want to not like RDJ for a few months after I watched this. Because it's like we talking about Doom. This ain't a villain who's forgiven and he gonna play it nice. He finna wreck some shit. I'm talking about like when he see Peter and Peter trying to walk up to him, like I'm talking about grab him like this. And start like it really gotta like that energy gotta really feed off.
It gotta be.
We all know like how RDJ portrayed Tony. We gotta really separate the two because if you don't, it's really gonna bleed in together and it's gonna be like that's just Tony Stark as Dr.
Doom.
Like I don't even want it to be a suit that looks like an Iron Man suit, but it's silver. I need it to just be completely separated from anything with Tony Stark. No references at all. So they gotta really pull it off, man.
Based on the leaked images, it does look like he's dooming. But my thing is, the rumors are, I'm going to say speculation before I say these things because people are going to be like, that's just a fan theory. Speculation based on the internet. If I'm wrong, sorry.
Don't come at me.
Exactly, don't come at me. But they said that he's supposed to be a one-off kind of villain. So, which is perfect, but like, you got to disguise it better. Don't tell me these things. Don't tell me it's a one-off villain before I get in to see this movie down the line.
Yeah, because I would rather not know. So when I see it, I'm like, okay, that's good.
Exactly.
That's what I was looking for. Because honestly, I know we're getting out Spider-Man. I really think, matter of fact, this is a Spider-Man thing. I really have some kind of feeling like in Fantastic Four, we're going to see like a version of Spider-Man in that world. And I think it's going to be a Doom, and it's not going to be Tony. Oh, not Tony, RDJ. I think it's going to be a Doom from that world, and he's going to like sneak into another universe with them. And that's who's going to be the one that's actually going to be there. So somewhere they're setting it up for it to happen. I might be wrong, but that's just my theory. So I just want to see a 1960s Spider-Man.
Oh,
I think that would be awesome.
I would love to see him be like a stand-in member of the Fantastic Four with that Foundation suit on. Listen, just give me a taste of it. That's all I need. Just a taste. Just a taste of it, because Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man got me looking at those alternate versions of different versions where he had the suit with the wings on it, which is another version of him from an alternate or whatever. I think it's alternate or it's either a clone of him or something like that. They're all like nods to those things.
So I got one more like really big question. Do you think, since we're getting another season, like, and it might be like more seasons, do you think we'll get the clone saga in the story? Because all this tech and stuff, I just want to see Ben Reilly just one time. That whole story.
For the one time, all right. I do too. I want
And
to
it
see
could
him in
just
this
be one.
classic.
It could just be a two-parter. It don't even
Yeah,
have to be like a big storyline. Just a
I
two-parter
agree.
or one episode.
Just one or two. Or more if you do it right. If you do it
Yeah.
right, I'll take more. But I need to see him in the classic 90s suit with the hoodie and the
Yep.
gauntlets.
The
Or if you're gonna do it, do a redesign inspired by that, and I'll be fine about it.
I'll be perfectly fine. Oh, and do you think Mary Jane should stay out of this show, or should she come later on like she normally does, like she's supposed to? Because a lot of people don't know Mary Jane was not like there off the
Yeah.
rip.
Yeah, she came after a while. Because the
Mm-hmm.
big thing that happened with Gwen Stacy's death was what like ended that thing with
Mm-hmm.
Peter, and then Mary Jane came in after that.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I would honestly, and I know Spider-Man fans are gonna give me a lot of shit in the comments. I'm sick and tired of seeing Mary Jane, especially with that
thank
last
you,
run they
bro.
did. Especially with that last
Thank
run
you,
they
bro.
did, where she just pretty much said, I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm gonna have kids with this man over here. I'm sick of her. That run left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like,
I need another strong Gwen.
oh yeah,
Peter. Matter of fact, not even Gwen Peter. Give me some Felicia, some Black Cat. It's time for
yeah,
some Black Cat.
some
Like,
Black Cat, or even give me that love interest he has in the show now. I'll take anything over Mary Jane.
Exactly.
Anything. I never really was an MJ fan like that. In the 2000 or Toby's verse did not help with the MJ at all.
Oh my god, it
So,
did not. Least favorite character in the whole
and also
series.
the 90 Spider-Man did not help either.
Yeah. Oh boy, a real problem. Toxic. They both was toxic.
Shout out to Emma Stone for revamping the Gwen Stacy line.
She really did.
Honestly, after seeing that, I was like, you know what? Gwen Stacy can get another run.
She can. She can. I like the setups and how they going, and I really like how they finna like play on this whole thing with like his relationships as far as, because I think Nico really like him more than like
I think so too. It's either that or Harry. Like I was either one.
Yeah, it's one
I was
of
thinking
them.
either one of them
Yeah.
could.
And then even with her, like her at the end with the little stone. So I feel like that's what Tom should have had. He should have had those people dropped in the world, so we'll know if it comes to it. He got these other villains. He got people can help him. And I really feel like what probably could have worked too with Tom is instead of giving him all those movies, he should have had a show.
Yeah, I agree. The show could have worked for him.
He should have had a show
show could have surely
because
worked.
that could have really like help his character grow a lot and show,
especially even in between the movies. Have a show like this in between the movies to flesh out some of those like lesser known villains, like the D-listers and stuff like that. The ones the friendly neighborhood ones, and then you relish or you have the bigger villains in the bigger movies, and that would have been cool. But I think this show is doing great, and I think the way they are doing their villains, I think like Scorpion be like the main villain of the show, like it leading up to him being that was great. And I hope to get some more Doc Ock because Doc Ock is great.
Yeah, they teased the arm. Remember?
Yeah, they did.
Prison wall. Yeah.
And then I definitely want to see. Shoot, I would love to see Chameleon or something.
Yeah, because they had him in the show. Yeah, Dmitri.
Yeah,
that mean Craven creeping somewhere in the back. They got Dmitri already.
They got Rhino in there. They teased him too.
Exactly. Yes, I'm like, they definitely got it set up.
They got it set up pretty well, and I think that they did a really good job of introducing Venom into the universe as well with the time loop. His powers becoming from a time loop. I think that was really cool introducing Venom that way, and I think Norman's on that stuff. You know, as we know, Norman's gonna experiment on. He never learns his lesson.
That's just Norman. Period. Like in any universe, he doesn't learn his lesson. He just keeps trying shit that's gonna not go the right way every time. It doesn't
every time. So I'm thinking they're gonna do what they did because I necessarily haven't got a chance to play Spider-Man 2 because I don't own a PS5. But I think in that game, Harry was the Venom symbiote at first, or something like that. So I think they might be
he had
teasing
like
him.
he had like a sickness or something, and that's what he was using to keep him alive, and it was helping fight it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was Agent Venom at first, but then it started taking over, and he became like Venom.
Oh, okay. Like I
That'd be
said, I
cool.
haven't.
That'd be cool.
I
If
think
they
they're
do
gonna set
that.
that up for that. I think they're setting him up
Yeah.
for that. Honestly, either that or him being the Goblin. Which
because the thing about Eddie is he doesn't work right now because technically Eddie comes into Peter's life when he's an adult and he works
exactly.
with people, so it doesn't really work. You can try it, but it doesn't hit the same.
And honestly, I feel like they can do a different. They have different options they can do for a Venom line. They could do. They could even introduce Flash in the next season and have him do it because Flash does become Agent Venom at one point in time. It works. Or they can have Harry be it because they've already introduced that in the games. Or they can have someone completely different.
They probably will have Flash now that Lonnie's gone because Flash is like the superstar athlete, so he's probably gonna take Lonnie's place as like the star athlete or something. That'd be cool. But I just gotta say one thing before we wrap up. I gotta give a shout out to Coleman Domingo voice actor.
Oh yeah,
and it's so crazy though how Coleman sounds like William Dafoe. Like his cadence is very similar to William Dafoe. And I think that's why his like Norman was so believable to me, and I was like so captivated and pulled in by it because I was like, bro, he sounds almost just like William Dafoe. Whoever
really
was the casting director, when they got him, they hit a home run with that one. I'm so hyped to see more of that. So I gotta give a shout out to my dude because he just be killing it. Period. So
he really do.
Shout out.
Yeah. He do. His voice actor and then Harry did a great job. They both did. Dino Robinson did a great job.
We're gonna leave it right there.
Yeah, we're not gonna harp on another podcast. You can check out our podcast about our woke podcast for that one.
Check that one out. Yeah.
Check that one out. Because we're not touching that one again.
Yeah.
We've already said what we're gonna say. But you have any other final remarks before we wrap this thing up?
No, man. Other than that, I'm really looking forward to Tom. I hope he gets to do justice to really prove himself as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, amazing, spectacular, whatever you want to put on the front of it. He gets that title. I'm hoping for it. I'm excited to see what comes from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I know it's gonna be more good stuff because, like I said, my boy from Craig of the Creek. He know what to do. So, other than that's all I really have. That's all I got for you.
Oh, my last final remark is I'm crowning your favorite, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man as the better depiction. That should have been already told, but I'm just gonna say it for people that are still questioning.
I got it even more controversial.
Okay.
I think if it goes on long enough, it can get up there with the OG animated series from the 90s.
If it's done right.
I'm not gonna say it can dethrone it, but it can be in the conversation for one of the best.
Yeah,
so it can. It has a very high possibility of doing that. So we shall see if this next season hits strong. OG Spider-Man, we love you, but hey,
you might take a back seat.
He on your coattail because some of them episodes ain't aged well. I know it was
they did not.
I went back and watched the old X-Men and those aged pretty good.
Yeah, the old X-Men worked. We have a podcast about X-Men 97, which we talked about 92 in there. So you want to see that. There's a link down there, or there's a video reference.
Y'all better get on the if y'all gonna do a Spider-Man 98, y'all better do it because this one coming. It's coming for it.
It is coming for you because he's right. A lot of it didn't age well at all. Yeah. I will say the designs are pretty good, but other than that, some of the story plots just they didn't do well.
And I'm telling y'all, we not just saying this. If you go on YouTube, it's a lot of guys that break it down and say we remember it a different way, but now when you're an adult and you can actually pay attention to it, it's way different. Like Dmitri said, don't come at us in the comments, but if y'all won't come at us in the comments, because we said at the square
we said what we said, man.
We stand on what we say. We standing on
business here.
Yeah, come on, man.
You already know.
Come on. And you know what? And on that note, we gotta come with the shameless promotional because we standing on business. Go ahead,
business. Oh, if you want to watch this episode or any future episode, you know where to find us on YouTube at Square Roundtable Podcast. You can find us on Spreak. We're definitely working on backlog on there, so our episodes are going to be coming very soon. But there's a lot of episodes on there already right now that you can, like hundreds or so episodes on there. Nice episodes. You can hear our lovely voices. If you want to follow us on our social media, our Instagrams, not X. We not going to X, and that's done. Our Instagram and think we have we don't Discord. Reddit's working. It's up there. But check us out on those things, and then leave us a comment below if you agree with our final pick of the better of the two depictions. If you have some Tom people out there who just don't love this new anime show, let us know in the comments. We okay. Hey, end of the day, like I say, if you have things with the animation, that's fine. Animation is something. All right, it's something to get used to.
Yeah, you gotta once you get past it though, it's a great story. Trust me.
It's a great
show. I started out
the
same way about the animation.
You forget about it, honestly. You forget it after a while. But with that being said, I'm your host, Dmitri.
I'm your host, Marcus.
And this has been the Square Roundtable Podcast. And we are out. Deuces.